The United States has dramatically increased the pressure on Russia, dispatching its fearsome supersonic B-1B Lancer bombers right up to Moscow's doorstep. This bold move is designed to remind President Vladimir Putin that America and NATO are not backing down, no matter the threats of escalation. For Russia's leadership, the sudden appearance of these aircraft in Norway is not just symbolic. It's a serious shift in the regional balance of power. The Rockwell B-1B Lancer is one of the most advanced and versatile bomber aircraft ever created. Alongside the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber and the B-52 Stratofortress, it forms the deadly trident of America's strategic bombing fleet. Each has its own specialty, but the B-1B stands out because of its rare combination of speed, agility, and destructive payload. For years, the B-1B has served as the backbone of U.S. long-range strike power, and its latest deployment close to Russia is one of the most significant signals yet of NATO's readiness. The idea behind this machine dates back to the 1960s, when the U.S. Air Force dreamed of building an aircraft that could merge the blistering speed of the B-58 Hustler with the immense payload of the B-52 Stratofortress. In those early years, the program was seen as too ambitious and too expensive, eventually canceled in the late 1970s. But the dream never truly died. By 1981, the project was revived, redesigned, and pushed into production. The first B-1Bs entered service in 1986, and by the end of the Cold War, a full fleet of 100 had been built. Today, decades later, around 40 to 45 of these bombers remain fully active with the U.S. Air Force, while many retired units rest in the famous Boneyard, the vast storage base in Tucson, Arizona. Yet, even after all these years, the aircraft's capabilities remain terrifyingly relevant. In Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, and Libya, the B-1B has flown countless missions, proving its value again and again as one of America's most dependable strike platforms. Now, with several of these bombers flying across the Atlantic to Norway, their presence is more than just military routine. It's a direct reminder to Russia that NATO has the speed, range, and firepower to strike if ever required. What makes the B-1B Lancer so special, and why does its arrival near Russia matter so much? The answer lies in its unmatched capabilities. This bomber is not just another aircraft. It is a flying fortress designed to outrun, outmaneuver, and outgun almost anything in the sky. First, its speed is legendary. The B-1B is the only supersonic bomber currently active in the U.S. fleet. At high altitudes, it can tear across the skies at Mach 1.2. That's more than 900 miles per hour, easily breaking the sound barrier. Even when flying low to evade radar, it maintains a blistering pace of Mach 0.92, or over 700 miles per hour. For comparison, the stealthy B-2 Spirit Max is out at just 628 miles per hour. This speed gives the B-1B the unique ability to pierce enemy airspace before defenses even have time to respond. But raw speed is not its only advantage. The Lancer's variable geometry wings, which can sweep forward or backward depending on the mission, give it superb maneuverability. With wings extended, it can take off quickly and handle high-altitude conditions with ease. With wings swept back, it transforms into a supersonic predator built for high-speed penetration runs. This adaptability allows the bomber to operate effectively at both high and low altitudes, giving mission planners a level of flexibility few aircraft can match. Then comes its payload. The B-1B holds the record for the largest payload capacity of any U.S. Air Force bomber. It can carry up to 75,000 pounds of munitions, more than the B-52 Stratofortress and almost double that of the B-2 Spirit. Inside its massive weapons bays, it can load an astonishing variety of arms: 500-pound Mk, 82 bombs, 2,000-pound Mk, 84 bombs, cluster munitions, naval mines, guided bombs like the GBU, 31 JDAM and GBU, 54 laser JDAM, and long-range cruise missiles. It is even the only U.S. bomber currently capable of carrying the long-range anti-ship missile RASM, a weapon that can devastate naval fleets. Looking ahead, the B-1B is expected to integrate hypersonic weapons such as the AGM-183 air-launched rapid response weapon. If this upgrade becomes reality, it will make the bomber even deadlier, giving it the ability to strike targets at unimaginable speeds. When you combine this enormous payload with its speed and agility, the result is clear. The B-1B is not just a relic of the Cold War, but still one of the most formidable aircraft in modern warfare. Despite being introduced decades ago, the B-1B Lancer remains one of the most modern and sophisticated strategic bombers in service today. This is because of the constant upgrades made to its radar, navigation, and defensive systems. The aircraft is fitted with an advanced synthetic aperture radar that can identify, track, and engage both stationary and moving targets with precision. From convoys of vehicles to hidden command posts, the radar ensures the B-1B never flies blind. To strengthen coordination, it carries a fully integrated data link system, which allows the bomber to instantly share information with other aircraft, ground units, and command centers. This means if a new target appears during a mission, the B-1B can receive the data in real time and strike without delay. Its GPS and inertial navigation systems further guarantee that it can always find its way, even when operating deep behind enemy lines where ground-based aids or radio communication might not be available. Defensive systems are equally impressive. The Lancer is equipped with advanced radar warning receivers that alert the crew the moment enemy radar locks onto them. It can then deploy a mix of chaff and flares to confuse missiles, along with a towed decoy system designed to draw enemy fire away from the aircraft itself. On top of this, its electronic jamming equipment adds another shield, disrupting hostile radar and missile guidance systems. Combined with its low radar cross-section and high speed, these measures make the B-1B one of the most survivable bombers in history. And none of this is theory. The bomber has proven itself time and time again in real conflicts. Since 2001, the B-1B has flown more than 12,000 combat sorties over Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and Libya. In these wars, it has dropped tens of thousands of weapons, provided close air support to troops on the ground, and carried out precision strikes on critical enemy infrastructure. Its long range allows it to reach distant battlefields, while its massive payload means it can loiter for hours, delivering wave after wave of firepower. This battle record has given the Lancer a fearsome reputation. Allies see it as a trusted guardian, while adversaries recognize it as a symbol of American air dominance. And now, with several of these bombers stationed in Norway, the message is clear. The United States has placed one of its most experienced and capable weapons right next to Russia's northern flank. The decision to deploy B-1B bombers to Norway is far more than a routine training exercise. It is part of Bomber Task Force Europe, a mission designed to enhance NATO's ability to operate in some of the harshest environments on Earth. The Arctic is a region of growing strategic importance. Melting ice is opening new shipping routes, and both Russia and NATO are competing to secure dominance in this vast, resource-rich zone. By placing bombers at Orland Air Base in Norway, the United States demonstrates its commitment to the defense of its northern allies. Norway, located only a short distance from Russian territory, gives the B-1Bs a forward position from which they can quickly reach any target across the high north. From Moscow, this deployment is impossible to ignore. It puts American bombers just a few minutes of flight time away from key Russian military facilities. This is not the first time the U.S. has used Norway for such missions. In March 2021, B-1Bs operated from the same region, conducting exercises in Arctic conditions to test their performance in extreme cold and to improve interoperability with NATO allies. 2 years later, in 2023, the bombers returned to participate in Arctic Challenge, the largest Nordic military exercise, involving dozens of aircraft from across Europe and North America. These drills refine NATO's ability to coordinate large-scale air operations in an environment where weather and terrain create unique challenges. The current deployment continues that trend. According to U.S. Air Forces in Europe, the purpose is to train in high-threat environments, sharpening tactics such as the find, fix, track, and target process, where crews must rapidly detect and engage enemy forces in real time. Operating alongside NATO fighters like the Spanish EF/A-18 Hornets and Norwegian F-35 stealth jets, the B-1Bs are learning to integrate seamlessly into combined missions. For NATO, this is about more than just training. It is about sending a visible signal of strength to adversaries. By flying thousands of miles from their home base in Texas to Norway, these bombers show that the U.S. can project power anywhere, anytime. And for Russia, watching from across the border, the message is simple. NATO has the capability, readiness, and will to respond to any aggression in the Arctic or Northern Europe. The timing of this deployment is no accident. The arrival of B-1Bs in Norway comes only weeks before Russia and its closest ally, Belarus, begin their massive Zapad 2025 exercises, one of Moscow's largest military drills. For decades, these war games have been used as both training and political messaging, a show of force meant to intimidate NATO and project Russian power across Eastern Europe. By positioning bombers in Norway just before Zapad begins, the United States and NATO have sent a powerful countersignal. It is a reminder to the Kremlin that whatever strength Russia wishes to display, the alliance can match and even exceed it. For every maneuver Russia rehearses with tanks and missiles, NATO responds with aircraft capable of striking anywhere in minutes. The presence of B-1Bs so close to Russia's borders underscores a critical truth. NATO's reach is global, flexible, and immediate. These bombers, armed with cruise missiles and heavy payloads, could, if ever required, cross into Russian airspace, target high-value installations, and retreat before defenses could react. It is not a threat made lightly, but a capability displayed openly. Statements from U.S. Air Force officials confirm this intent. The commander of the deployed squadron emphasized that the mission is about training the way we fight, integrated with NATO allies, adaptive, and always ready. A message posted by U.S. Air Forces in Europe reinforced the same idea. This is not just about bombers. It is about standing side by side with our allies, showing unity, trust, and delivering peace through strength. For Russia, the implications are clear. Vladimir Putin cannot ignore the sight of America's most versatile bombers flying in formation with NATO fighters just a short distance from Russian soil. He knows exactly what the B-1B is capable of and how devastating it could be in a real war. While NATO's deployment is framed as defensive, its message to Moscow is unmistakable. Any aggression against a NATO member would trigger a response too overwhelming for Russia to withstand. While the deployment of B-1Bs sends a message today, NATO leaders are already looking toward the dangers of tomorrow. Across Europe, military officials and political leaders have been issuing increasingly urgent warnings about Russia's long-term ambitions. In Germany, General Carsten Breuer, the Inspector General of the Bundeswehr, has cautioned that Russia could launch an attack on one of the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, or Lithuania, by as early as 2029. According to him, the Russian military is already rebuilding stockpiles of ammunition, tanks, and missiles, and NATO must be ready not years from now, but today. In his words, we must be able to fight tonight. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has voiced similar concerns. Speaking to international media, he warned that Putin could rebuild a new army by 2030, replenishing the massive losses suffered in Ukraine. With time, Russia could restore its manpower and modernize its forces, becoming fully capable of threatening NATO nations once again. Zelensky stressed that the only thing holding back Russia's expansion right now is Ukraine's ongoing resistance. Meanwhile, NATO's new Secretary General, Mark Rutte, has pointed to the staggering scale of Russia's defense industry. In his remarks, He noted that Moscow is producing in just 3 months what all of NATO produces in a full year. Russia's factories are expected to roll out 1,500 tanks, 3,000 armored vehicles, and 200 Iskander missiles in the coming year alone. Ruda warned that Russia could be militarily prepared to challenge NATO directly within 5 years. His message was clear. The days of believing Europe is divided into East and West are gone. With modern Russian missiles capable of traveling many times the speed of sound, the distance between European capitals is measured not in hours, but in minutes. In his words, there is no longer East or West. There is only NATO. These warnings underline the urgency of today's deployments. The presence of US B-1Bs in Norway is not simply symbolic. It is preparation. It is NATO making sure it has the tools, the training, and the coordination required to respond to any future threat, whether it comes in 2029, 2030, or sooner. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has exposed deep cracks in its military power. Once feared as one of the strongest armies in the world, Russia has lost tens of thousands of soldiers, thousands of tanks and armored vehicles, and countless pieces of critical equipment. Its economy is strained under sanctions, its reputation has been damaged, and its war effort has been one of the most wasteful and costly campaigns in modern history. Yet, despite these failures, Russia remains dangerous. It still possesses the world's largest stockpile of nuclear warheads, around 5,500 in total. This arsenal ensures that even in a weakened state, Moscow cannot be underestimated. It is this reality that drives NATO and the United States to maintain constant vigilance, strengthening their defenses and showing unity at every opportunity. The deployment of B-1B bombers to Norway is not about starting a war. It is about preventing one. It is about demonstrating to Moscow that NATO is united, prepared, and capable of defending every inch of Allied territory. These bombers, with their unmatched speed, agility, and payload, are both a practical tool of deterrence and a symbol of American power. U.S. officials describe the mission as more than just another bomber rotation. It is about building trust with allies, training the way they would fight, and showing that NATO's strength lies in its unity. Every sortie flown, every exercise conducted, and every bomber positioned in Europe reinforces the same message: peace through strength. For Vladimir Putin, the sight of B-1Bs in Norway is a constant reminder of what the United States and NATO can unleash if provoked. Whatever Russia produces, whatever partnerships it builds, it will never match the combined force of the alliance. Every movement of American bombers across the Atlantic is a warning that NATO is not only watching but ready. In the end, this deployment is about balance. It is about ensuring that Russia understands the cost of escalation and that the peace of Europe is safeguarded by the most powerful military coalition in history. As long as NATO maintains this resolve, the world knows that deterrence holds, and that strength is the foundation of stability.